Okay, so today we're going to talk about the introduction to research in daily life too. So, ano ba ang may encounter nyo sa subject na ito? Well, it's not necessarily like before, yung parang subject orientation. We'll jump into the things that you're going to learn here. So first is we are going to see the importance of quantitative research across fields. Kasi, of course, this is your research. Then we are going to talk about the nature of variables. So we'll discuss that as well. So we'll also talk about the range of research topics. Okay, siguro we've done that before. But the main highlight maybe is instrument development, data collection, analysis. Okay? Yan. So data processing, organizing, and analysis talaga yung pinaka main focus dito. So today, not today, in this subject, you will be able to do a quantitative research design to make an instrument and collect data, analyze data, okay, using some techniques as well. So, ang inyong subject is itong percentage. So, your offline-online activities is 35%, your performance task is 40%, and your monthly exam is 25%. So to add up, um, your thesis will, sasakupin ng thesis nyo ay 75% ng inyong grade. Okay? So, ganun siya kahalaga. Okay? Again, yung thesis nyo is 75% ng inyong grade. Okay? So, moving on. Our performance tasks, don't know, edit natin to. So, ang ating performance task 1 is, yeah, I think it's right. Chapter 4 and chapter 5. Okay? So, yan ang ating performance tasks. Okay, included sa chapter 4 ang questionnaire. Okay? So, questionnaire, chapter 4 and chapter 5. So, yan yung main output natin for this subject. Okay? So, now, let's start with a very short recap between research paper and thesis. So, what's the difference? Let's see. Okay, balikan ko pala, no? So, again, I want you to always remember that a thesis will always be a research paper, but a research paper is not always a thesis. Okay, kasi may iba't ibang klase tayo ng research paper. Meron tayong investigatory project, thesis, dissertation, capstone, business plan, business proposal. I forgot. May tawag kasi talaga diyan per strand. May tawag sa UM, sa STEM, sa ABM. We also have action research, no? So may iba't ibang klase tayo ng research. And thesis is just under research paper. It's just a kind. Okay? So keep that in mind. So next. So now let's go and see what is research. So research is a scientific, experimental, or inductive manner of thinking. So starting from particular to complex ideas, you execute varied acts of range from lower order to higher order thinking strategies reflected by these research activities. So sabi dito, ang research, it could be scientific, pwede rin siyang experiment or inductive manner. So let's analyze first that meaning. So scientific. If you do investigatory project, that's scientific. IP, no? So it's also a kind of research. And then if you do some experiments, it's also a kind of research. Okay, and then inductive manner of thinking. Ito yung parang maa-apply natin sa thesis ninyo na based sa mga observed things ninyo or analyzed data is magkakaroon kayo ng conclusion. Okay? So that is inductive manner. So, also in your research is nagsisimula kayo sa isang idea and then you will explain it further. So, you start from particular to complex idea, 'di ba? And then you start from lower order to higher order thinking strategies. So, paano? So, paano siya naging lower to higher? Kasi lower order thinking strategies, nag-explain ka lang. Nag-explain ka lang ng isang concept, nagpapakita ka lang ng similarities ng concepts. However, when we go to higher order thinking strategies, is meron ng application na nangyayari. Is doon sa data, is nag-gather ka na ng data, and then i-compute mo siya, and then gagawa ka ng analysis behind that. So that's higher order thinking. Okay, so under nito is identifying the topic or problem. So in your thesis, that's your statement of problem. Okay, sa case kasi ng STEM, iba yung kanila. Next, we have our gathering data procedure. This is under chapter 3. And then we have sorry. Gathering data is, I can relate this to chapter 2, yung mga pag-collect natin ng mga data na related sa ating research, or it could be also gathering data na pagpapasagot ng questionnaire. So we also have making theories, pag-formulate nyo ng theoretical framework. We also have formulating hypothesis. Of course, you have your hypothesis. You analyze your data after you gather them. And then, after analyzing the data is you draw conclusions. Okay? So, that is the concept of research. Okay? So now, balikan natin ang quantitative at qualitative. Again, can someone say the difference between the two? What's the difference between quantitative and qualitative? Anyone? Do you still remember the difference? Okay.
Pag
Mm-hmm.
quantitative po, parang based on may numbers related. Pag qualitative po is based on qualities, ganyan.
Okay. Numbers and qualities naman tayo sa qualitative. Sorry sa sulat ko. Okay, so when we say quantitative, yes, we're dealing with numbers. So, ibig sabihin yung thesis mo is magpe-present ka ng questionnaire na measurable. Okay, like siguro meron ditong range na 4, 3, 2, 1, tas may questions. Okay, so that's quantitative. For short, si quantitative is nasa-solve gamit ang formula. Okay? However, si qualitative naman is more on observation. Okay, observation and talagang analysis ng, it could be present ka sa isang lugar or it could be the response. So, sa qualitative, pwedeng nag-interview ka, then nag-observe ka ng isang classroom, or nanood ka ng mga videos related dun sa research mo. So, I hope nakikita niyo yung difference, no? So, si quantitative is nag-present ka ng paper para makapagsagot sila. Yung question is the same and the answers are fixed. Okay, yung answer ay nasa range lang ng 4, 3, 2, 1 or yes or no sometimes. However, sa qualitative is maraming possible answers. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. So when we say quantitative, it gathers information from existing and potential customers using sampling methods, sending out survey or questionnaires. The results of which can be depictable by the form of numericals. So yun nga, it's in the form of questionnaire and nasosolve siya through numbers. And here, gumagamit tayo ng mga statistical treatment para ma-measure yung results na gusto nating makuha. So, ano po ba yung mga statistical treatment? So, sa thesis nyo yan yung mga Pearson's R, chi-square, t-test, standard deviation, weighted mean. Marami pang iba. Okay? So, it indicates specificity, particularly or exactness of something. It is objective. Okay, kasi guys, when we do quantitative research, hindi naman mas authentic. Pero I think that's the term. Mas authentic yung results na nakukuha natin kasi we use formula. Okay, hindi tayo yung nag-a-assume lang dahil yun yung um, it's more on deductive. Okay, do you still remember deductive and inductive? So, si deductive naman kasi is nagpe-present siya ng facts for you to conclude something. So, this is objective. Okay? So, yan po ang quantitative. So, move naman tayo sa qualitative, no? So, qualitative shows results from social interactions. Yun nga. So, bakit siya social interactions? Kasi you as a researcher, you engage yourself to your respondents. It's either in-interview mo sila or in-observe mo sila. Okay? So, ang example ko ng qualitative research is, let's say, ang research nyo kung wari, pero hindi naman talaga to research, hindi naman talaga siya research level. Okay? Pero I just want to give an example. Kung wari, ang example mo is, ang research mo ay gusto mong i-prove na mas madaldal talaga ang lalaking senior high kaysa sa babae. So, ang ginawa ng researcher is, yung mga klase ng senior high, nag-sit-in sila, nag-observe lang sila all throughout the period. Okay, and then day 2 nasa kabila naman silang section, next section sa kabilang araw. Okay, and then paulit-ulit lang nila 'tong ginagawa. And then based dun sa ginagawa nilang yon, they observe the environment and then gagawa sila ng conclusions. So it's more on inductive, 'di ba? 'Di ba yung inductive based lang sa observations nagkaroon ng conclusion. Okay? So that is qualitative. Okay, but remember, qualitative could also be in a form of questionnaire. So, paano naman? So, kapag in a form of questionnaire, si qualitative, it's essay writing. Okay, let's say, what is your opinion about vaccine? Okay, so yun yung tanong ng qualitative questionnaire. And then number 2, what is your opinion about anti-vaxxers? Kung wari lang. Okay, so that is another subjective question. Hindi siya pwedeng masagot ng 4, 3, 2, 1. Ang hinihingi ng questioner, merong line dito. And then there, based sa similarities ng answer is magko-conclude yung mga researcher. Okay, so this qualitative research involves uh, the desire to preserve the natural setting of the research features. Kasi yun yung parang old style kung titignan. Okay, and then it involves verbal language, words, visuals, objects. Also includes text analysis. Kasi yun nga, syempre, if you observe, syempre magno-note taking ka or nagpasagot ka ng paper, ina-analyze mo yung mga text na yun. And then it is subjective. Okay, so again, that's the difference between qualitative and quantitative. Okay. So, moving on. So, dito naman tayo sa subtypes ng quantitative research. So, we have experimental and non-experimental research. So, we will discuss this each. Okay. So, start tayo sa experimental. So, experimental uses the scientific method to establish cause and effect relationship among a group of variables in a research study. So, most of the time, mako-compare ko to sa thesis ng STEM. Okay? Kasi ang kanila ay experimental. Paano? Kasi ang research ng STEM, guys, is meron silang product. Not necessarily product na ibebenta, but invention. May iiimbento silang isang machine, isang technology. Okay? So, it's in a form of experiment. Kasi experiment nila, how does it work? How does it affect things? Or something like that. So, if this is the kind of research you're doing, that you want to see the cause and effect of something that is experimental. Okay? So, bakit cause and effect? Kasi let's say, meron tayong dalawang variable, kumari. So, kung wari dun sa dalawang variable na yun is, ano mangyayari kapag dinagdagan ko ang variable 1? Ano mangyayari kay variable 2? Or like, ano mangyayari kapag binawasan ko yung variable 1? Ano mangyayari kay variable 2? So, to give you a more example for that, ng experimental is, let's say, ang ating unang variable is coffee. Second variable natin is si participant. Kuwari lang naman. Okay, pag dinagdagan ko yung kape, anong effect sa participant? Or kapag binawasan ko yung kape, anong effect sa participant? So that is experimental. We're looking at the cause and effect of something. Ine-experiment mo nga, di ba? Okay. So in under experimental, we have pre-experimental research design. It's a kind of experimental, okay? So when we say pre-experimental, is the simplest form of experimental research design. And a group or various groups are kept under observation after factors are considered for cause and effect. It is usually conducted to understand whether further investigation needs to be carried out on target groups due to which is considered to be cost effective. Okay. So ito yung pinaka-simpleng klase ng experimental. Okay. So here we have some groupings, okay, and then we observe them, and then we see the cause and effect, and then this is considered as cost effective. So we will see later kung bakit siya mas cost effective. Kasi dito parang observation lang naman. So it is really cost effective. Kasi observe mo lang eh. Okay. So next is we have the true experimental research design. So the true experimental research is the most accurate of experimental research design as it relies on statistical analysis to prove or disprove a hypothesis. Okay. So if you try to go back here, this is cost effective kasi it's just observation. But this one it's more accurate because it used statistical analysis. Okay, so mas ma-effort siya. And then, when there's statistics involved, it's not cost effective kasi magastos ang statistics. You need to hire a statistician for that. And it is the only type of experimental design that can establish cause and effect relationship within a groups. Okay? So, mas accurate kasi siya kasi nga gagamit tayo ng statistical analysis, isolve natin siya. Okay? Laging mas, accurate kapag gumagamit tayo ng formula. Okay, so still under experimental, we have quasi-experimental research. The word quasi indicates resemblance. Okay, so resemblance, tumitingin kayo ng mga comparison. Okay, so a quasi-experimental design is similar to experimental research but is not exactly that. So the difference between the two is the assignment of the control group. In this research design, an individual variable is manipulated, but the participants of a group are not randomly assigned as per conditions. Okay. So, as you can see, meron tayong minamanipulate na variable. So, example ko ng minamanipulate na variable, yun nga, yung dinadagdagan yung coffee, ano effect sa respondents. Pero same respondents pa rin. Binawasan yung coffee, same respondents, anong effect? So, as you can see, yung respondents natin, di naman natin siya binago. It's just random. Pero meron tayong variable na minamanipulate or binabago. So, that's quasi-experimental research design. Okay, so if we have experimental, we also have non-experimental. So in the non-experimental, it lacks the manipulation of independent variable, random assignment of participants to conditions or orders of conditions or both. Okay, just remember it's just the opposite of experimental. Okay, and we will see why. So number one, we have the ex post facto under non-experimental. So in this method, the groups with qualities that already exist are compared on some dependent variable, also known as after-the-fact research. An ex post facto design is considered quasi-experimental because the subjects are not randomly assigned. They are grouped based on a particular characteristic or trait. So, dito muna tayo sa groupings. Okay, so sa non-experimental na ito is the we group the respondents based on their characteristics. For example, sa questionnaire ninyo may grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. So yon, ginugroup nyo sila based on their grade level. And then, sa ex post facto kasi, after the fact research is, meron ng existing na isang research and then gusto mo lang siyang ituloy. Parang ganon. Okay, so that is ex post facto. Okay, so we also have correlational. So from the word correlate, you are looking for the relationship. Okay, so it explores the relationship between variables using statistical analysis. However, it does not look for cause and effect. So iba kasi yung cause and effect sa relationship. So sa correlational is we are looking for the significant relationship or the significant difference. You want to know, are they related to each other? Okay, so that is correlational. So yan yung ilalagay nyo sa research ninyo. Your research design, what is it? Is it correlational? Okay, mga ganun. Is it exposed factor or something like that? But most of the time is marami sa inyo ang may correlational research. Okay, so another kind of non-experimental is survey. So it is the most fundamental tool for quantitative research methodologies and studies. Surveys used to ask questions to sample of respondents using various types such as online polls, surveys, paper questionnaires, web intercept surveys. So survey is just yung parang may gusto ka lang i-measure na something. Like for example is, are you satisfied with our product? Okay? Yung mga ganong klase. May gusto ka lang talagang i-measure. Pero, it's not necessarily to address a problem. Kasi 'di ba yung mga research ninyo, more on may problem, gusto natin siya gawan ng solution. But survey is just, you just wanted to know the percentages. Like, are they satisfied? Are they not satisfied? Is your product effective? Is your product not effective? Mga ganon. So, yun lang yung point ng survey. Okay, and that is the end of our lesson today. So next lesson is we are going to talk about more deeper about the different gusto ko ang ilinaw na topic. Okay. Siguro syempre medyo recap lang naman ito ng mga topic. So I think you will be interested sa ating next topic na parang uy, yun pala yun. Okay? So again, that is our focus muna today. What is quantitative? What is qualitative? What is research?